Welcome to Talks with CrissyJ, the podcast where we dive deep into the facets of life that matter most, from the joys and challenges of parenting to navigating health and wellness, fostering meaningful relationships, advancing in your career, and exploring the depths of spirituality. We are here to discuss it all. So join me every week for engaging conversations, insightful interviews, and a dose of good vibes that will enrich your journey through life. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification so you don't miss our first episode and everything that follows. Let's embark on this journey together with openness, curiosity, and a spirit for growth. What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to Talks with CrissyJ. If you are new, then I want to invite you to subscribe for good vibes because I do think you're going to love it here. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you guys so much for returning and welcome back to another video. So today we are going to discuss navigating the chaos of life with grace. And I think the most important part of that topic is with grace. So before we go ahead and jump into the conversation, I want to go ahead and let y'all, get comfy and cozy, grab a little something to drink, a little something to eat, because, we're going to vibe out together for the next 30 minutes or so. I myself am sipping on some Stella Rosa Black. Y'all, when I tell y'all Stella Rosa had your girl in a chokehold, okay, I am loving the blueberry flavor and the black. It is just top tier. Love it. Now, we do only drink on this channel if we're 21 years or older, so do with that what you will. But yeah, y'all, go ahead and get comfortable and let's go ahead and get into today's conversation. I hope everybody is doing well. I like to start off with the mental health check-in. So let me know in the comments from 1 to 10, where are we at mentally? I think today I would say mentally I'm on an 8. I'm about an 8. I woke up feeling a little, body was aching, snap, crackle, and popping. But then my boyfriend gave me a nice rub down and I felt a lot better. And I'm practicing being very intentional with my moods. And what I mean by that is I felt myself when I woke up, I kind of felt myself like drifting into a little bit of a depression state of mind. Like I was kind of feeling all of the lows, and I was like, oh, hold on, you sinking, girl, you sinking. We are not doing that today. We are not. So I kind of took note of how I was feeling and then my thoughts that were going, after that feeling. And it was just getting darker and darker and darker. And I was like, oh no, come back to the light. And sometimes that's just what we have to do. We got to be real with ourselves. We have to check ourselves like, hey, hold on. You're losing me. Come back. And, I can say after that, I just, had my talk with God and said my prayers and things like that. And I was fine. So sometimes that's all it takes. And on my way to drop off my daughter to daycare this morning, I was talking to God as I do with her, and we were doing our prayers. And in my prayers today, I asked for God to just open the doors for us to find a church home that fits for us, that's welcoming to us, and that we can feel like home. And once we find that church home, I really would like to get back into singing again. I haven't sang in so long, and I just miss the days when I used to sing in the church choir, and and I want to give back. I want to do God's work. I want to be on like a committee on the church and in the church. I just want to just do God's work, and I feel like that is the only thing missing in my life right now. I'm very thankful of where I am with my journey, my spiritual journey, and drawing closer to God, but I feel like I can be doing more. And I'm giving myself grace because we can all be hard on ourselves, right? We're like, oh, we need to do this. And the moment we start doing that or getting close to doing that, we still feel like it's not enough. We have to do more. We got to do more. We buy that dream car, and then 2 years later, we have another dream car. We get that dream job. 2 years later, we want to go for a bigger job, bigger raise, more responsibilities. We get that house. Now we want to go for the bigger house. It's almost like it's never enough. But I don't want to have that mentality of like it's never enough, because it comes off like we're not grateful, which I'm sure we're grateful. I know I am. I'm very grateful for everything that I have, everything I've accomplished, good and bad. All of my struggles in life have molded me into who I am today. I just think that when we want more, it's just us wanting to level up. It's just us seeing our potential. It's like, okay, you playing a sport and it's like, all right, you're really good this season and you might have made this many points or whatever. But next season when you play, you want to beat the person you were last season. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think what happens is we get caught up in the chaos. We get caught up in what it looks like from the outside. And we're doing so much and working so hard to have the nice home, to have the dream car, to take those luxurious trips, to buy those luxury material items and things like that just look good, But realistically, how do we feel? How do we feel on the inside, And that's why I have like such a love-hate relationship with social media, because it gives you only the fake life. And I'm not saying that happiness doesn't exist. I'm not saying love doesn't exist. I'm not saying the finer life doesn't exist. It definitely does. But does it exist all the time? You know what I'm saying? And social media allows you to filter so much, even down to how you look. And it's almost kind of like scary and intimidating at the same time, because you know who you are. You know what you look like when you wake up or when you look at yourself in the mirror, right? But when you post a picture on social media, you can filter yourself to look completely different. You can make your lips fuller, thinner, cheeks bigger, face slimmer, body bigger, body slimmer, thicker, wider, however you want to word it. You can change the color of your eyes. You can add a mole. You can add freckles to your face. You can add different hairstyles. And all of this looks very real, very much so real. I was finding myself creating avatars for this channel because I know that sometimes I'm just not going to feel like always being on camera, and it just is a lot to kind of like do your makeup, make sure your hair is done, just it's a lot. So days that I want to have the conversations with you guys and I just don't feel like showing myself on camera, I wanted to, have a nice little cute little avatar. And the avatar is always going to look different. It's always going to be a different complexion, different races, different cultures and everything, backgrounds, all of that, right? And I think I found myself getting a little like feeling away about my avatars. I'm like, oh, she is so pretty. She's beautiful. Look at those high cheekbones, or look at her posture. Like I found myself really like engaging and feeling away about the AI avatar, y'all. No lie. And I'm just like, imagine feeling that way about someone who actually really exists. But then when you see that person in person, that person really does not exist. Sure, you're beautiful in real life, of course. But did you go ahead and take away your acne? Did you remove the scar on the top of your lip? Did you add that beauty mark or beauty mole on top of your lip? It's just, did you change your eye color? Is that really what your eye color is? Did you plump up your lips? Like, there's just so much filtering going on. And I think we need to really start giving ourselves grace. Give ourselves grace with being okay to be flawed. give ourselves grace with being okay to have bad days and being vulnerable. I hate when people are vulnerable and they want to share their experience. If their experience is traumaful, then that's just what it is. It's traumaful. And it may be triggering for some. And that's okay, you know? But at the end of the day, that's their experience and we can't take that away from them. I just don't like when people put themselves out there to show the ugly side of real life and they get like attacked in the comments. Oh my goodness, when I tell you that boils my blood, I cannot stand it because, first of all, since the pandemic, mental health, okay, is so real. And it was not talked about nearly as much before the pandemic as it is now. And that's because going through the pandemic and people losing so much and so many people and things like that, being isolated for so long, it really took a toll on people's mental health. A lot of people really had to sit with themselves and got to know and understand, like, hey, I don't really like me, you know? And the flip side of that is the pandemic was a blessing to some. It was a curse to others and a blessing for some. I was I was one of the fortunate ones that it was a blessing to me. I didn't lose any loved ones. I didn't lose any friends. However, I did have friends that lost loved ones during the pandemic. And so it's one of those touchy things where I don't like to say like, oh, it's a blessing to me, you know, to everybody and things like that, because I know that for some it wasn't. I know that for some they don't even want the reminder of it, you know. And so with that being said, we're not going to stay there too long, but that was just chaos. If we have never experienced chaos before, we experienced chaos then. And I feel like if you made it out of the pandemic, give yourself grace. Now, I also have a vlog channel. If you guys like vlogs, I'll always leave the link to my vlog channel in the description box below. But it's just simply me just vlogging my everyday life with my family. I have 2 children and my partner. And just living our lives day to day. But you'll get to know me a little more through my vlogs. But I shared on that channel that I had a recent health diagnosis that had me go to the ER, and I was admitted to the hospital for one night. I was diagnosed with DVT and pulmonary embolisms. I had 2 large pulmonary embolisms on each side of my heart that were pressed up against my heart on both sides, causing my heart to work in overtime. And it also caused my main heart valve to have a little bit of failure. So when I was leaving the hospital, I was also diagnosed with diastolic heart failure. Which is like when you take your blood pressure, the diastolic number is the bottom number, and it was high. We couldn't really get it down. It's gotten down some since then, but you know, we just have to like learn to give ourselves grace. And how I ended up getting the blood clots is because I was overdoing it, and that's just the best way I can put it. And it takes me back to working so hard for things, you know, trying to, like, we bought a house in last April, and it's like, okay, we got the house. I love the house. Thank you, God, for the house. And now let's turn this house into a home. And it's not a small home, you know. And so it's like, I envision it to be this way and to look like this. And so I'm just doing the absolute most to try to get the house as comfortable as I can, as quick as I can. It just absolutely is not realistic for me to think that I'm going to get this entire house, you know, furnished and decored with, you know, wall art and every little knick-knack, get the fence installed and the porch screened in and just everything, you know. And these are projects that are a couple $1,000s, you know what I mean? And my job offered overtime and I jumped on it. And then when they put an email out saying it basically was unlimited overtime, we could work from 5 a.m. to midnight, I was doing that for weeks straight. The only times I had off was when we were closed for the holidays. That's it. Other than that, I've been working from before, like right before Thanksgiving until my ER visit, which was February 5th. I had probably had off 3 days. And that was just New Year's Day, Christmas Day, Thanksgiving Day. That's it. So, yeah, it was a bit rough. I think we had another holiday in there that we were closed for. But I didn't realize how much I was hurting myself. I knew I was tired. I definitely could identify with being tired for sure. And I was like literally dragging myself to work. I work from home, so it's just a quick little couple steps down the hallway, but I was dragging myself to work, and I just didn't realize that I was actually doing damage to myself internally. I felt all the symptoms though, all the symptoms of DVT. I was getting the tingling sensation in my legs, a little bit of numbness. When I got up, it was like really hard for me to get up initially to like get my footing and everything. I just thought that, I'm just sitting too long, like I need to stretch, things like that. And I started stretching, but I wasn't nearly moving my body as much. Like going down to the kitchen to grab something to eat and drink, eating it at my desk, still sitting down. Running to the bathroom real quick, still sitting down. The most I was doing is like dropping my daughter off to daycare, picking her up, and going up and down the steps when I went to get something to eat. Maybe throwing some laundry in here and there and vacuuming sometimes. That was it. I wasn't working out like I was doing before. I wasn't walking. I just wasn't doing enough. And then I clock out at midnight. And what do? I go lay down. I'm still like in a position where my body is not moving. And then I'm up at 4:30 so I can be to work at 5. Sometimes I got up at like 4:45 and I'm at it again. And it's the same routine over and over and over. So needless to say, I inflicted blood clots on myself. And I started to feel myself being very out of breath and tired when I went up the steps. It would seem as though I ran like 3 miles. And my mom called me one morning and I had just, went up the steps and she's like, I'm starting to worry. I want you to go to the ER, make sure you don't have any blood clots on your lungs. Lo and behold, I did, all over my lungs. So that was definitely a lesson learned. But while I was in the hospital bed, just listening to the staff, looking at their facial expressions on how high my D-dimer was and just my labs and things like that, it was truly a wake-up call. Like, none of this matters. Absolutely none of it matters. And I get it, y'all. I know that it matters until it doesn't matter anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. But nothing matters though. Nothing matters when you're facing life or death. It's like the only thing that mattered to me at that time was my family and me living to be with them. And that was it. I didn't care about the house. I didn't care about my job. I didn't care about my car. I didn't care about things. I was willing to just be with my family and have nothing than to be gone, And then I thought about it and I'm like, you're working so hard for all of this stuff. To what? To pass away and leave all this for other people to enjoy or to get rid of? You know what I'm saying? So it was a huge wake-up call. So if you're anything like me and you're just like an overworker, overachiever, slow down, One thing on this channel we don't shy away from is God. I'm a firm believer in God. Like I said, I'm on my spiritual journey and we talk about God on this channel. So if you don't believe in God and that's not something that you resonate with, that's okay. Feel free to click off. But if you do stay and want to engage in the conversations, I just ask that you keep it respectful because we want to keep the energy positive on this channel. But I say that to say God will sit you down. He'll give you all of the signs, all the warnings. But if you don't take heed and you're hard-headed like myself, he is going to sit you down, you know? And it's like he gave me all the signs, like, okay, you're tired. I was like, I'm tired, but I'm going to go anyway. Okay, here's some leg pain. My legs hurt. I'll just have Sean give me a massage at night, you know? And it's just like, okay, let's throw this in the mix. And I was like, oh, I'll get through that too. And then finally God was like, all right, you want to do things your way, let me go ahead and intervene. I'm going to sit you down. And I'm just thankful that that wasn't a permanent sit down, because it could have easily been, you know, if I didn't go to the hospital when I went, it could have been really, really bad for me and for my family. And I'm just very thankful that my mom had the discernment to give me a call, and I had the soft head that morning to listen, because normally I'm just like, oh no, I'm fine. I literally was working overtime when she called. Like, it's crazy. But while we're on the topic of chaos, you know, let's kind of dive a little bit deeper into exactly what is chaos. Let's define chaos in life. Now, to me, and feel free to chime in the comments of what chaos is to you. But to me, chaos is just like unexpected events that we know are going to happen in life anyway. There are challenges that we know we're going to go through anyway. There are disruptions to our plans that we know are going to happen anyway, you know, because I mean, we're living life at the end of the day, and these things are written, you know. We're going to grieve. We're going to hurt. We're going to get sick. We're going to struggle. It just is what it is. This is life. But what are we going to do to prepare ourselves for the known? Although the unknown is exactly what type of sick. Exactly when am I going to feel this pain? Exactly when am I going to go through this grieving process? Exactly when am I going to lose these things that I worked for? You know what I mean? It's going to happen. But it's just, the unknown is the when. The unknown is how long. And I think as long as we can kind of like prepare ourselves and get ourselves in a plan, we can navigate through the chaos much better than if it were just sprung on us. And I kind of compare it to preventative care in the medical field. You know, we go to get our annual checkups, we get our blood work done. And if we go like we're supposed to go and get things done when we're supposed to get them done, sometimes we can catch things before they manifest into something bigger. It's like, oh, you know, your cholesterol is slightly high. Let's go ahead and get you on this medication. Or your iron levels are really, really low before you become severely anemic. Let's go ahead and get you some, you know, iron infusions. And we have to view the chaos of life the same way. We have to be prepared to have that life vest. We have to have that plan. What is our escape plan? Okay, we know that one day all of us are going to expire from this earth in our human form. So what do we have in place in case we go before our children? Do we have a will? Do we own assets? You know, do we have these things delegated? Do we have a life insurance policy? You know, and these are the things that are hard conversations to have, because at the end of the day, no one wants to go, but it's necessary, because the worst thing is to leave your loved ones. They're grieving. But the worst thing is to leave them grieving and stressed, you know, over like your finances and over your things that you've left, and they don't know what to do with them, or you don't have a policy to cover, you know, expenses. It's a stress, and it's like no one wants to stress and grieve at the same time. So if we can make that a little lighter of a load, then let's do it, right? And so those are things that I identify as being chaos. Now, how does chaos affect our mental, our emotional, and our physical well-being? Well, like I said, mentally, you're going to be stressed out, right? It's like, I am a worry queen, and I've said this in one of my vlogs on my vlog channel. They know me. Like, I worry, I stress. nothing that I'm proud of. I absolutely cannot stand that I worry and stress the way I do. And that's something that I'm really, really working on. But I do. I worry and I stress, right? And I feel like stress is one of those things that will take you out of here. It causes so many things behind it, and none of them are positive for you. It can cause high blood pressure. It can cause hair loss. It just is so much behind stress. It causes some people to not eat. It causes some people to overeat. It causes some people to lose weight. It causes some people to gain weight. It's just not a good thing. And it affects our mental because it consumes our mental, and there's so many other things that we can focus our minds on. And it's like, to have something that you're stressed about, it is overconsumption of that thing, of that worry. You're overconsuming your mind with worry. Now, emotionally, how does it make you feel when you're overconsuming your mind with worry? Well, with me, I get angry sometimes. I'm very impatient. I lash out. I snap easily. Sometimes I cry. Sometimes I feel dark. I don't ever feel like I no longer want to exist. My thoughts don't go to that extent. But I do feel unworthy. I feel like I'm not doing enough, like I'm not good enough. I feel like the struggle will never end, or that the thoughts of whatever it is I'm going through will never end. The hurt or whatever the bad feeling is, I feel like it'll never end, So I'll use an example. When we bought this house, like I said, I was trying my best to try to, get everything that we need to get done in it and everything. And it's like, oh, I want to get this done now, and I was just so impatient. And I'm like, I need more money, and obviously we make the income because we wouldn't have got the house, right? So we can afford our bills and everything. But it's like, to afford our bills, to furnish the whole house, to buy a new refrigerator, new washer and dryer, beds for all three of us, it just was like, we're literally coming into this house with barely nothing because we got rid of so much stuff. And income wise, it was just over the amount that we were bringing in the house. But that was on a time frame of me wanting to do everything now. That wasn't like, let's just put $300 aside this month for whatever for the house, and let's just keep doing it like that until the whole house is done. It's like, that's going to take too long. Let's go ahead and try to get $10,000 worth of things done for the house in 3 months. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was my mindset with it. And it just makes you feel horrible when you plan to do that, which sounds unrealistic, as I don't know what, it's ridiculous, because like, girl, but when you plan to do that, you're like, I'm just going to work from 5 a.m. to midnight for the next 4 months, girl. And that was such a good idea in my head. But before that idea, I was like, I need to find another job. I got to get another part-time job. I got to get, more income, blah, blah, blah. I could work at night and da-da-da. It's like, girl, what is wrong with you? And it's like, God just laughs at me. Like, he just like looks at me like, I need to do that. I need to do that. Why are you eyeing? Where is God in this? Where's your faith in this? And it's like, I would ask him for things, but I wouldn't be still patient and wait. And then he said, here we go again. You're so hard-headed. I told you I got you, but you don't want to wait. You don't want to believe me. So I got to intervene again. And what did he do? Sat me still again. This time it wasn't medically related. It was just, okay, you want to apply for that job? Deny. Okay, I'll let you go for the interview. Okay, I'll let you go for the second interview. I'll even give you a third. Oh, I definitely got that job. They interviewed me 3 times. I'm going to have them lose your information. Denied. Like, I interviewed for numerous jobs I was well qualified for, overqualified for. I got my claims adjuster's license, can't find a job. Like, it was just, everything was a roadblock. And God was like, nope, 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 nope. All right. I said, I give up. Threw my hands up. I give up. God said, wait, I got you. And he put me in a waiting season. And it was so frustrating, y'all. Oh my God, it was so frustrating. It was so frustrating. And the frustrating part is knowing you're in the waiting season, which I'm okay with that part. But what frustrated me is, when am I going to be released? It's like you just don't have anything to look forward to, because you don't know when. You know it's coming, and you know when it comes, it's going to be everything you needed it to be and more. You're going to have everything you need and more. But when we're focused on when, then we're not focused on the right thing. And my wait-in season felt so long, but I noticed the moment I stopped focusing on when it would be over and started to enjoy the actual season that I was in, and utilize that time to focus and prepare for what it is that I'm asking for, that was the moment I was released. And I just feel like a lot of times we're focused on the wrong things, or we spend too much time focusing on the wrong thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, this is the problem, and we get that that's the problem. But now, what is the plan for the problem? But instead, we're focused on the problem that we lose insight on the plan. And how can we ask God for something? You know, please bless us with this house. Bless me with that new job. Bless me with a marriage. Bless me with children. Bless me with whatever it is that you're asking him to bless you for. But you aren't putting yourself in preparation for what you're asking for. Are you ready to receive that marriage? Are you ready to be a mother or a parent? Can you financially handle the responsibilities of owning a home? You know, so much comes with it, and preparation is key. And that's one of the major things that we have to do in order to navigate through the chaos. We have to have our life vest. We have to. You know, it's going to be what ultimately saves us and gets us through that situation. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like once we get a hold of the plan, which is like the blueprint, everything else just kind of seamlessly just falls in place. When you know where you're going, when you have that GPS and you know where you're going, you know how long it's going to take for you to get there. You see the traffic ahead of you. You can prepare to take another route. You get what I'm saying? It's the same thing with the chaos of life. Get your blueprint ready. Turn your GPS on. Have your alternative plans in motion. Just, be ready. Also, with navigating chaos, you have to have adaptability and flexibility. And by that, there's importance of being adaptable. You have to have the ability to adjust. Life changes day to day. Things change day to day. With my job, it's funny because my job is like, all right, I prayed for my current job. I got the position, and I literally have been doing so many different roles within my job that I didn't know exist. And I have to just roll with the punches. I have to adjust. I feel like literally every week they're making changes to something, and it's like, you gonna roll with the punches or you gonna stay still and get left? And that's just how it is with life. The one thing time does not do is it doesn't slow down. It doesn't wait, and it doesn't stop. It is going to keep going whether you go with it or not. And you have no choice but to go with it, or you're going to be left. trying to play catch up, you know, and that's why a lot of people in life feel like they are behind. It's because you didn't prepare for the future. You didn't set yourself up for what you knew was coming, myself included, in a lot of things in life. You know, a lot of struggles and things that I've gone through, I could have prohibited myself from going through it. I definitely could have, if I would have been prepared, if I would have listened to those who came before me. You know what I'm saying? It's like we want to do things our way. Oh no, it's going to be different. Oh no, I'm not going to do it that way. That's not going to be my experience. It might not be your exact experience, but your mother not telling you nothing wrong. Your father's not telling you nothing wrong. They letting you know that they was hard-headed too. They tried it too, and it ain't work out. So to keep you from doing it and going through it, just take heed that is a stronger possibility than your way. You know what I'm saying? If I ride down this hill with no brakes, it's a strong possibility when I get to the bottom, I might hit something. Or you could be like, oh no, I know, I built this. I know how to navigate this. I got this. Okay, it's a possibility you might be able to slow the car up or slow whatever it is you're driving up. It might be. It's a possibility you might swerve and, you know, avoid hitting something. But it's a stronger possibility that you just might hit something, that you just might hurt yourself. You get what I'm saying? Because the fact is you're driving downhill with no brakes. And that's just how it is with life. Like, we know what's coming. We know it's coming. Whether we like it or not, we know there's going to be hard times in life. The only thing we do not know is when and for how long and exactly what. But the quicker we prepare, the more thorough our blueprint is and our preparation is for that, the better we can handle that situation when it arises. One thing that I do to keep myself calm in the chaos is daily practice of mindfulness. I start my mornings off with journaling, prayer. I talk to God. And if you're not a type of person who likes to write, then just you can go on Pinterest and look up some journal prompts. There's also a 5-minute journal that's very popular. And it just is prompts that will guide you through your writing process. And it's only 5 minutes. You know, what are you grateful for? Give 3 affirmations. What are you looking forward to today? Or what will make today great? And that's a start. I would highly suggest to get that journal. You can get it if you're a digital girl like me. I transferred over from writing into journals, multiple, to getting an iPad and having all of my journals in one place in GoodNotes. And I absolutely love it here. I am a digital girl for life. But if you do enjoy, you know, physical writing on a paper, I would highly suggest you order the 5-minute journal. You can get it off of Amazon. I'll leave the link in the description box. But I just went on ahead and found the page on Google, and it just is a repetitive page throughout the whole entire book, same prompts. And I just, you know, add my pages to my Google Notes, my GoodNotes, and I do my journaling that way. I also do freehand journaling, which is just you're writing your thoughts. It's just like a diary. I have always been a writer since I was young. I always had diaries. I loved to vent, especially at the end of my day. I wrote who I had a crush on, who hurt my feelings that day, you know, just whatever my experience was, what teacher made me upset, you know, who pissed me off. Like, it was just hilarious reading it back. And I lost my journals not too long ago. I lost my diaries a few years ago, but hilarious. Okay. But I highly recommend journaling. It's a really good way of venting and getting things off of your chest and just, you know, getting it out there. Because when you hold in everything and you keep it to yourself, after a while you burst, you know, and you just explode and you go off. But if you just let it out, you'll feel so much lighter, so much better. So I highly recommend journaling. Also meditation. I am in the practice of learning how to meditate properly because I have to constantly redirect my mind. My mind goes 1,000 miles per minute nonstop, even in my sleep. And I'm working on trying to calm and slow my mind down from thinking 1,000 things at one time. So that's just something that I have to work on, is just, getting myself to a point where I can meditate and just focus on my breathing. But one thing with meditation is if you do feel yourself getting distracted and your mind is going off and it's veering to the left, just bring it right back to your breathing and just practice that day in and day out, and you will get better at it. I've gotten a lot better at meditation than I did before. And I still have a long way to go with it, but I highly suggest it. Another thing that I do, that I practice in the morning for myself, is words of affirmation. And I do those with my daughter on our way to drop her off to daycare. And, we say it out loud. I am beautiful. I am smart. I am loved. God lives in my heart. And then I do those with her. And then when I come home, I journal my affirmations for myself. I'm successful, prosperous, in abundance. I am worthy of love. I am my true, authentic self. And I am loved for who I am and just the way I am. And things like that, with me having my diagnosis, I also, my body is healed and free of blood clots. Like, I have to speak that in myself, you know what I'm saying? And so at the end of the day, we just have to give ourselves grace. We are not doing life for the second, third, fourth time. This is our first time around, and we're doing the best that we can, and that's all that we can do. Just live honestly, be true to yourself, be authentic, find your community of people and be with them. And hopefully this is a safe space for you and you felt comfortable enough to want to come back, because I would love to have you come back. And we can have open, safe, no judgment dialogue in the comment section. I really would love to engage with you guys and, have that conversation. So I invite you to, once again, subscribe. Don't forget to ring the bell before you go so you don't miss when I do upload another video. And thank you so much for tuning in to Talks with Chrissy J. Until next time, peace.